No, I do apologize because the reason why my nose is stuffed because I just got to do goddamn sneezing because I'm watching this bullshit. Really, before I just freaking went out and sneezed like 10 fucking times already. That's why my nose is all stopped up because of I just literally just got finished watching this bullshit again. And this is the reason why I never want to see this film again. It makes my sinuses just go through the roof. Get back into this bullshit of the Transformers franchise. There's a reason why I don't like this franchise. I don't. Okay, just going through one more time. I do like the first Transformers film from 2007. I do. But, like, so there's been how many Transformer films overall? This one is like, this is like the fifth. They got Bumblebee, the next one that came out the year after this, which I actually do like, though. But then, that's 6. Then The Rise of the Beast, 7. The anime film, 8. And then the original 80s anime film, 9. So, overall, 3 of the 9 movies I like. That's not good. That still makes me overall, dude, it makes me overall, I don't like this franchise overall. 3 of the 9 films is not good. I don't. Because, like I said, I am not a fan of the 80s. I'm not a fan of the 80s animated movie. I don't, okay? I think it's overrated. I don't like the characters, especially what was the one, Hot Rod, the one that Judd Nelson did, got Optimus Prime killed, and for some reason they have the soundtrack, including one of the songs they put in is like, don't, was it Lucky to Be Stupid, or Good to Be Stupid, whatever it was. Why, I think it was one of those films from Weird Al, I think it was, why would you put that in that movie? It was a weird choice. But I did like did like the animation from back in the 80s. I did like Leonard Nimoy, hearing his voice in there. But most of the characters I like that died, including Optimus Prime, but thanks to Judd Nelson. So I'm overall not a fan of the 80s animated movie. Like I said, I like the first Transformers film. Couple of flaws. It's flawed though, but I do like the first film. Second film, Revenge of the Fallen, I hated. Because that's when I started getting with this over the top on the stupid humor. Dogs freaking humping. Wheelie humping Megan Fox's leg. A pair of balls on a Decepticon. Yeah, like I said, the humor, like in the first film, like I mentioned, I don't know. I didn't like the fact in the first film, Bumblebee pissing on John Turturro. That humor too. And the Fallen was barely even a villain. Waste of Tony Todd. Third film, I just don't barely remember now. But the whole thing just with Leonard Nimoy and goofy ass John Malkovich. More dumb humor. Yeah, it's sad. Now it's sad that I'm basically forgetting about Dark of the Moon and I just reviewed it not that long ago. That's how sad how my memory is leaving this franchise. Age of Extinction, way too fucking long. Way too fucking long. It didn't need to be close to 3 goddamn hours. The action scenes felt like they went on for 2 hours, especially in the finale. It felt like all the action that happened, especially in China. Yeah, China. I guess what the film needed is Chinese money. The action felt like it went on for 2 hours. Characters, I didn't care. I didn't give a shit about Mark Wahlberg's character Cade Yeager, Marky Mark and his Funky Bunch, and didn't give a shit about the daughter. That her boyfriend's a pedophile. Oh, the stupid Romeo and Juliet. That's not how it works. So yeah, the guy's a pedophile. He's 20, and she was like 17. But like I said, the stupid thing with I was a sophomore and he's a senior, so 18-year-old going out with a 15-year-old. So they had to throw pedophilia in a Transformers film. Yeah, stupid, fucking stupid. And like I said, way too long. I didn't care about Kelsey Grammer, Stanley Tucci, they did the best they could in that movie. They did, okay? And it was nice to hear Johnny Goodman as Hound. He was one of the Autobots I like, because he had more of a person, had one of the few ones that had personality. But as I said, like with this movie and the rest of this other, like the stuff they just pull out of their ass that comes out of nowhere, thin air, like stupid things. Like, okay, the first film, it's like how the Autobots, they've been around this so long, but they don't know jack shit about any of the stuff that pops up. Oh, this and that, you know, like the first film, they came. The reason why they came because of the Allspark, right, and because of what was on Sam's glasses. But basically, it was the Allspark. Second film, it was this Matrix of Leadership. Third film, what was it? I forget what it was. It was the Ark to help bring down their home, Cybertron. So it's this Ark, which they probably didn't know about. The last film, Age of Extinction, now it's the Seed and the Creator. Well, Optimus, their creator, which Optimus Prime never knew there was a creator, or had a creator. Sort of the word, I don't care. So yeah, this is Seed, and let alone this, the materials that they're made of, the transformium, which I thought it was Allspark, the Allspark. I thought that was what they make transformers, right? No, it's not that anymore. It's transformium, the materials that they can use to make. And once again, crappy humor. And I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit about Mark Wahlberg. I didn't give a shit about the daughter or her pedo boyfriend. I didn't. They actually said the action scenes went on for too goddamn long. It felt like it was 2 hours. It was boring me. And dumb dialogue, which they make no sense, like with Optimus Prime with the Dinobots, which they had the T-Rex. I forgot what his name was, Grimlock. That's how little I care about the movie. Yeah, the T-Rex, his name was Grimlock. But it's like, either you defend my family or die. But we're giving you freedom. How does that work? I have no idea. What does that work? I have no idea. I mean, just... But I do give this franchise, Michael Bay does know how to use practical explosions. I still say that, though, but still. Having nice explosions does not save a movie, though. And then you lead up to this damn movie. Transformers: The Last Night. This is easily the worst one of this whole franchise. This is easily the worst. It is so goddamn awful. This is one reason why I never want to watch this film again. I don't. But I did for the sake of it. But the thing is, once again, now it's 2.5 hours I can never take back now. And that's the same problem with these damn movies. It's too damn long. It's like with every other Marvel movie. Try to be every other Marvel movie is be over 2 goddamn hours long. Because, the longer they make, the more how bored you're going to get. 2.5 hours is still way too long. Still way too long. And like I said, more ideas they just pull out of their ass, out of thin air. They just want to keep making shit up as they go. They do. And who are the writers of these movies? Can't tell. It's too black. It's too dark to see that. There you go. Put in the light. There you go. Where is it? I really have to do this. Yeah, one of the Steve Jablonsky does the music, comes back, does the music. It's bland as hell. It's the same in every goddamn movie. That's another thing. There are 4 writers of this movie. One of them is Akivia Goldsman, who's been a shitty writer in a whole bunch of movies. Yeah, Arts, Mark Markham, Matt Holloway, and Ken Nolan. four writers. I think two of those writers, the one that go on to write Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, that's a real gem right there. I think so. I could be wrong. And was there another movie they wrote that was also shit? I'm probably drawing on blanket, but I know it was crap though. Yeah, I know. I should probably do this before. I should have done this beforehand. I know. Here we go. Yeah, Men in Black, International, Uncharted, and Kraven the Hunter. Oh, he also wrote Punisher Warzone from 2008. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, Kraven the Hunter, Men in Black International, Uncharted, Punisher Warzone. The guy who wrote Iron Man. That's right, the first Iron Man. Which that was good, you know. So you go to write for a good film like Iron Man to go write shit afterwards. Punisher Warzone to this movie, Men in Black International, Uncharted, and then Kraven the Hunter. Wow. You started off good with help writing the first Iron Man. But I think also the rest of the writers, I think like Ken Nolan and Holloway helped write on those as well, I think. Jeez. Well, of course, Akiva Goldsman, he wrote in a whole bunch of crappy. I know Akiva Goldsman went on to, before and after, wrote scripts for several crappy movies. I know that. And Michael Bay once again directing. You know, this is a good thing. He should have stopped after the third film, but no, the studios kept on pressuring because they made money, and that's why they brought him back after he told him after he wanted to do Pain and Gain. He should have stopped the first time, but no, because the last one, Age of Extinction, that made over $1 billion. I thought this was going to be another $1 billion, and guess what? This film flopped. It cost what, 210 to 260 million. In the U.S., it made 130 million in the U.S. Worldwide, just slightly above 600 million. That's considered a flop because you take it in not only the budget though, but also you have to take in the cost of adding in marketing and the studios and the everything else, right? That would probably almost be like 300 million, almost pretty much. And the film flopped. And Paramount lost money because of this, like 100 million. Probably because people were getting tired of this franchise, and plus, 2017 was a year, especially in the summer, where there was a lot of sequels coming out that didn't do well, really enough. I mean, 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy did well. That was in the summer. The sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that did well though. But more in the summer, like this film, like Despicable Me 3, I think. Secret Life of Secret Life Pest 2 was like 2019. No, sorry. I was like, wasn't there other sequels that came out that didn't do well during that summer? Yeah, Despicable Me 3. War for the Planet of the Apes, yeah. Oh yeah, and Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Homecoming, and then Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. Which I like Dunkirk actually. That was a good film. But of course I know how my thoughts I hate on Wonder Woman, but it was just like fatigue, for the people who were getting tired of these films. So anyway, getting back into this. Yeah, but the film didn't do well, and once again, it was like Revenge of the Fallen. It was critically panned. It's the lowest rated one on this franchise, even below Revenge of the Fallen. Like, okay, like I think it was Revenge of the Fallen had 19% Rotten Tomatoes. Age of Extinction had 18. This got 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, and once again, like every other Transformers film in this franchise, nominated for Razzies. Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Supporting Actor, Anthony Hopkins. And a couple of others. I'm not going through all that, though. But just more Razzies. Is there a pattern that I'm sensing here? But anyway, getting I'm going on Lois. But the thing is, though, the problem with this film is literally all over the place because they shoehorned like 50 or 100 ideas in this movie. So I probably will be going all over the place because this film is this film is it literally is a mess. That's why it is all over the place because it's a mess. But the opening of this film, see, this is why they shows that they just pull out of air. We thought that the Transformers never came to Earth before, like in the first film, right? But they were Earth beforehand because they've been there since like pretty much the Middle Ages. Because we see an opening where it takes place in the Middle Ages. We have King Arthur. Yeah, so they throw in King Arthur in a Transformers film. And by the way, the guy who plays King Arthur, they really Liam something. I forget his last name is, but the reason why they got him to play King Arthur in this film because he also played King Arthur in like season 5 of Once Upon a Time. I remember I watched Once Upon a Time. The guy who played King Arthur in that film, that's the reason why. Probably because Michael Bay saw him. Probably watched him in Once Upon a Time and saw him as King Arthur. That's why he got him to play King Arthur again in this movie. That's probably the only reason because that was a time when the year or so. That's when the season 5 or so of Once Upon a Time came out, and that guy because they threw in the story of Camelot and King Arthur in it. Yeah, that guy Liam playing King Arthur, and then the next year this film comes out and he plays King Arthur because I can guarantee that Michael Bay saw that and asked him to play King Arthur again in this movie. But yeah, but they throw in King Arthur in this and Excalibur, and the Knights of the Round Table, and then they're losing, and so. They ask for they also throw in the sorcerer, the wizard Merlin, which is played by Stanley Tucci, which funnily enough because I thought they thought they were going to bring Stanley Tucci come back as his character Joshua from the last movie Age of Extinction, right? But for some reason they got him to play another character, which in this case Merlin. So Stanley Tucci does come back, but as a different character, which is weird. But he's playing the famous wizard Merlin, which this Merlin is a drunk, an asshole. So, but Merlin asks for the Transformers for help to help defeat the enemies. If I do this, I'll give up drinking and women. No, not women, but I'll give up the drinking. So, Stanley Tucci was Merlin with the long hair and beard makeup. And so, they give him this rod, this staff, and that's when he helps to defeat the enemies. And the Transformers, now they have their own knights, because now they have their own Knights of the Round Table. They see all the people that are Knights of the Round Table. So, they've been around since the Middle Ages. And then Optimus Prime, who was barely in this movie, after the last film he takes off. He was going to go see the Creator to leave Earth alone, but now time has passed. Like now he's drifted in space, and he does meet his Creator, and then he's easily gets brainwashed. He's barely in the movie. He pops in like in that when he's drifting in space, and a little bit when he gets caught, then brainwashed by his Creator named Quintessa. Now, like I said, I didn't grow up with Transformers. I didn't. I know barely any characters other than Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, Megatron, and that was pretty much about it, though. But I didn't grow up with Transformers. I know barely anything because, like I said, there's so many characters and Autobots and Decepticons. I just barely don't even know. So I do apologize because, like I said, I didn't grow up with Transformers. I didn't. And so, but he gets easily brainwashed, and then we cut to now back on Earth. Like I said, it's just like so many all over the place. Now, like the humans only didn't learn anything from the previous movies because now they still don't like the Autobots. like in the last film, like Kelsey Grammer Black Ops were hunting them, but now like everybody still doesn't like the Autobots. Now they're all illegal aliens. Yeah, throwing that name in, because well they are aliens, but they're here on Earth illegally. Get it? But they're in hiding. Like Mark Wahlberg is he comes back once again. Like I said, I don't care about Cade Yeager, but and then there's this other new characters. Like there's this girl who has this small Autobot named Squeaks, which I'm surprised that small robot Squeaks was practical. I was surprised, because everything's CG in this, glorified CGI fest. But I'm surprised the character Squeaks, that the girl was always hanging out with, I'm surprised that was practical. I really did. But the girl, I didn't give a shit about this girl. I didn't. She's supposed to, she's this tough girl who wants to go along for the ride. And yeah, and I really forgot. This girl Isabel, I think what her name was. Isabel. Isabela Moner. She would go on to play Dora the Explorer. The 2019 live action Dora the Explorer. You're going to get the girl who plays... Well, that was before, though, but still, but this is the girl who goes and plays Dora the Explorer. And I think she was also in Madam Web as one of the many Spider Women. I really think she was. Madam Web. And I also think recently she goes and stars in Superman, the new Superman movie, as Hawk Girl. So you start from Madam Web and start in the new Superman movie, and she plays as Hawk Girl, I think. I could be wrong on that, though, but I know she played Dora the Explorer. See how my nose is still congested from all this bullshit? See? Jesus Christ, me. Anyway, she has this sidekick named Squeaks, and there's this Autobot who I don't know who the hell this Autobot is. He's hiding, and Josh Duhamel comes back because since he was absent from the last film, and he works with the humans who knows that the Autobots are good though, but he works with the rest of the military who's hunting the Autobots. I'm like, you and your partner Tyrese, who's not in this, he's not in it though, but help fight with Autobots, and you help defeat the evil Decepticons. But you're part of this group, but it's wrong, but he still goes along with it to help destroy the Autobots. And so they shoot this nobody Autobot who I don't know who the hell this guy is, don't even care. And that's when Mark saves the girl. And that's when this Autobot gives him this talisman. And it's like, no, you keep it. I'm like, the guy's dead. What are you going to do about it? It makes Marky Mark, this character, like a dickhead, No, you keep it. Even though the guy is dying, he's dead. But, no, you keep it. But he gets this talisman. And he takes the girl with him. And he's the one on the run now. But I guess his daughter is not, because I guess she's doing well. I guess after the last film, where it was, but she gets now living. Now she gets to go to. She's in college, I think now. But for some reason, he's on the run still. And he's with the other Autobots, like with Crosshairs. I forget the guy the one who sounded like Mark Hamill, like the Joker, his version of Joker. Like Mark Hamill's version of Joker. Drift, once again voiced by Ken Watanabe, the stereotypical one that's being Japanese, calling Optimus Prime Sensei. Then you got John Goodman comes back as Hound, and Bumblebee's there. And even Grimlock and the other the Triceratops Dinobot is there. Whatever happened to the other two, the two-headed Pteranodon one and the Spinosaurus one, where are they at? I don't know. But Grimlock, the T-Rex one, and the Triceratops one is there. That was named Spike, I think it was. And they're hiding, and Mark has another guy. I know I've seen this. I know I've seen this guy who was he hired. This character named Jimmy, yeah, Jerrod Carmichael. I think he was the guy in Neighbors, the first film of Neighbors with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron. Which actually I do like Neighbors. So okay, I did not mind him in that movie. Here this guy Jerrod Carmichael. I think the guy did the best he could. I mean, some humor he thought he was trying to do was trying to get a chuckle out of, but the guy was trying. Steve Buscemi comes in, who voices another Autobot, which I don't know who this guy is, but he's been collecting junk from parts, including Stars. Gives him Starscream's head. Okay, you know, it's just like who is this Autobot now? Like I said, there's so many they just throw in, you know. And the reason why the guy Steve Buscemi back because Michael Bay, he worked with Michael Bay with The Island and Armageddon. So that's probably why the Steve Buscemi came in a voice. But after that, you don't see that guy again. So who this Autobot was? Oh, he's only in it for about 30 seconds to give him some stuff, and that's it. He just goes and fucks off whatever. So, and then there's so many places like Josh Duhamel knows about the stuff, but he put a tracker on Bumblebee so he knows where he's at, and yet he goes and talks with Megatron, which for some reason because in the last film Megatron was reborn as Galvatron. So by this film now Galvatron he makes himself become Megatron again. I don't know how that works, so. But Josh Duhamel goes and talks to Megatron. Like, why would you go and talk to Megatron? Shouldn't you be talking to your allies, the Autobots, more than talking to a Decepticon? And Megatron wants him to help, wants to cut a deal with Megatron, and Megatron's like, hey, you raise more of my comrades. Which now, for some reason, they have a prison for Decepticons. Like, these are evil robots, why don't you just kill them? Instead of just keep him in prison. Why? I have no idea. One of them has a mohawk. And he's trying to be like your Decepticon version of the Suicide Squad. I am just. Oh, and the one where I do recognize the police car Decepticon Barricade, who disappeared after the first movie, is back in it. Why they bring this one? Because where he's been after all this time, I have no idea. Because I remember it's the police car from the first one that was after Shia LaBeouf the first time. After that, he disappears, so he just comes back all of a sudden out of the blue in this movie. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I'd just rather be watching this instead. Yeah, this is a collector's cup I got from watching it from the theater when I went to the AMC theaters, which is nice because like it's a 50th anniversary, you know, that's nice collector's cup. I'd just rather watch this instead. I'd rather watch this 50th anniversary. I'd rather watch this 50 times over if I watch any more of this bullshit Transformers movies easily. So I could watch it to be entertained with. And watch a good classic movie as well. And speaking with Steven Spielberg, he also takes a lot of blame for this as well. I mean, I love Steven Spielberg, but just like he's part of the bullshit reason behind these Transformers films as well. So yeah, I know nobody's perfect, okay, but he can make good movies, but Spielberg has helped make some bad films, like in the case, help Michael Bay make these movies. So Steven Spielberg is not just Michael Bay or the writer. Steven Spielberg has a hand in this as well. So, no, hey, I can't praise Steven Spielberg every time because he has a hand in making making bad decisions too as well. I mean, like I said, I love Jaws. I love Jaws to death, you know, but nobody's perfect, you know. They can make lots of good movies, but at the same time, every filmmaker has to make bad films as well. So it's not just Michael Bay who making the shitty film, let alone the writers, but Steven Spielberg has a hand in this as well. And like I said, so it's like I'm going all over the place here. Like I said, what else after that? And then after that Megatron, and then what else? Oh, and there's another character, this woman, this Oxford professor, which it's the girl who play. It's the woman who played Peter Quill's mother from Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, in the opening of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill, when he was a kid, his dying mother. That's her. And even also including the opening of the second Guardians of the Galaxy film, the sequence in the opening with Kurt Russell, back in the day, you know, my heart is yours, Meredith Quill. Yeah, so that's the woman who plays Peter Quill's mother from the first two Guardians of the Galaxy films. She's in this as this Oxford professor, which it turns out she's a descendant of Merlin. So they need her, which when they listen to Mark Wahlberg, they get chased by the military, the drones, and Decepticons as well. One thing leads to another. For some reason, I'm skipping because this is taking way too long to explain. It's like this, like they just overcomplicated stuff they just throw in here, you know. One thing leads to another. They end up in England, where Mark meets the girl, the professor. That's where they get this chemistry between them, with this love story I don't buy, and then one thing leads to another. They meet with Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is a good actor. He should not have been in this film because his acting was off-putting in this movie as well. I mean, his character. He's a guy who knows about this stuff, right? About the whole thing with the Knights of the Round Table. He knows about the stuff basically from what we saw in the opening, right? He knows all about the stuff, right? He knows about the history, and he has an all about butler named, what was his name, Codman, who is a sociopath. Which literally said he is a sociopath. Which, yeah. So I know a sociopathic transformer. Yeah. I hated that butler character. I hated him. And so, but he tells them that the woman, she's a descendant of Merlin, and which leads to like the staff and the sword Excalibur. And like I said, Anthony Hopkins, like his dialogue stuff too. Like he calls Mark Wahlberg dude. I mean, why hear Anthony Hopkins, like, if you think of like if you it's like saying Hannibal Lecter calls you dude, you know? It's like it doesn't sound like what Anthony Hopkins would say, right? And then there's another Autobot named Hot Rod. With some reason they make him sound French. I guess he read up on French literature, and that's why he makes himself sound French. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, John Turturro was in this. That's how completely forgettable he was in this movie. John Turturro from the first three movies, he's in Cuba, I think. And there's another Autobot who's just like standing right over his head, and like, why is this Autobot doing? Should go out helping? But no, he's just standing around playing soccer, I guess. And John Turturro, he's wasting this film. He comes back just to give Josh Duhamel info on the payphone. That's it. And Josh Duhamel, once again, he's given nothing to do either. Like he did in the first, like in the second film, he and Tyrese were given nothing to do. He barely doesn't do much of in the third film either, sad to say. And here, he doesn't barely do anything. A lot of times he's talking, standing on the was he on a boat or where? I forget though, but I'd rather have him as the lead than Mark Wahlberg, because you establish his character in the first three films, you barely do anything with him. Why not just have him as the lead? But no. So, Anthony Hopkins takes the girl and Marky to, there's a submarine, which turns out to also be a transformer. They dive down, go into this place where they find the staff, and Optimus was over Oh, there's a chase too as well. Before that, there's a chase, and Cogman, the butler robot, is driving with Anthony Hopkins sitting in the passenger seat, and that's when they get there, and then they dive down to this place where they find the staff of Merlin, and Optimus Prime finally shows up like over an hour in, after in the beginning getting brainwashed. I think it's over an hour in because it's 2.5 hours long. I can't remember the time frame. But he's brainwashed, and so he wants to bring down Cybertron again. Which I thought Cybertron got destroyed in the third film after those pillars were broken and Cybertron imploded on itself. Because after that we see Cybertron kind of implode, in the sky. I guess not. I guess not. I guess Cybertron is still there. So they want to bring down Cybertron to merge with Earth, and plus this all leads up to bring about Unicron. Unicron, which Rise of the Beast. Rise of the Beast. That's enough. I mentioned Rise of the Beast, but the thing is though, it's not worth mentioning because it was completely forgettable. It was mostly forgettable. That's why I barely mentioned Rise of the Beast, because I completely forgot about Rise of the Beast. All I know because I mentioned Unicron because Unicron was a part of that movie as well. But is it continuation or is it a reboot? I'm like, the timeline in this franchise is so screwed up, just pretty much as much as the X-Men franchise was. So is Rise of the Beast continuing in this series after the last night because Unicron? But wait, Unicron is this now was under the earth in this film, and now he's his own person. If I keep thinking too much, my head's gonna explode. I really am. So I'm really giving too much thought on this. If I keep thinking about it, my head's going to explode. Oh my god. I know they're only movies. I know. I just need to calm down. I just need to take a breather. This is how fucked up this series has been, especially with this movie. But like I said, Unicron with that movie, but then this movie, he's like, I guess they say that Earth is Unicron. Unicron is Earth. I mean, so, but that's what Megatron wants to do, is bring about Unicron. That's why they need the staff, which they put. There's a certain spot they need to put it, and that's in Stonehenge. Yeah, because now they evolved Stonehenge now. Because the second film is the pyramids of Egypt, and then all these iconic symbols of history, they're all just involved with Transformers somehow. So now they throw in Stonehenge. And then so when they get there, Anthony Hopkins is there. Anthony Hopkins is first. He goes there by himself. He shoots at Megatron, and he gets blasted, and no one notices it. There's military flying around in helicopters. No one notices Anthony Hopkins down there by himself. No one sees him gets blasted. So, but he dies without nobody knows, except for Cogman. But no one else notices. And as he's dying, and as he dies, and Cogman says, "Of all the people I've known, you were the coolest." And after that, that's that you last see of him. But Optimus Prime still brainwashed. He attacks Bumblebee, and then now for some reason, now he finds his real voice now. Like in the previous movies, he talks through the radio, but now all of a sudden, just pointing about he's fighting Optimus Prime, and all of a sudden now his voice is restored to normal. All of a sudden, no reason, no rhyme or reason. And also with help of Mark Wahlberg, had to save Optimus Prime. And also him getting his butt kicked by those by the Auto Knights of the Round Table. I say that because they're the Autobots that were from the Knights of the Round Table in the opening. So the Auto Knights of the Round Table. And now he's back to being back to normal. one thing, what else? One thing leads to another. They fight Quintessa thing, and they supposedly she's dead. And one thing leads to another. Just I think now, I'm just skipping because I don't want to make this too long. But because the action is so overblown, it goes for so long. It does the same thing with Age of Extinction. The action goes on for so long. Like Age of Extinction, the action in the finale seemed like it was 2 hours. This felt like over an hour. So I'm just so I can barely. It's too long to explain. One thing leads to another. Like it. One thing leads to another. Like Optimus Prime, he decapitates 5 at the same time. We saw the end of the trailer there, and now Cybertron is now connected to Earth now, and everything's fine and dandy. And Mark gets with the professor, which I don't see no chemistry. Oh, before that, I forgot. They go to back to her place with her mom and some other English ladies talking, and they hear a ruckus upstairs because they're searching the room, anything that her dad left behind for a clue, but the ladies are hearing, which they assume they're just doing it upstairs. Because they're, oh, what to put in here? Oh, this is like, oh, and the ladies are listening in. They think they're doing it upstairs. You get what I mean? Yeah. Which really they're just searching the room, but still, it's much of that stupid humor like I heard in the first movie, which I like the first movie, but the humor is just like not only Bumblebee pissing on John Turturro, but the mother talking about it to Sam. Oh, you masturbating? Well, make it Sam's happy time, or just the dumb as the humor as the second film with the balls and the Decepticons. Dogs humping, wheelie humping, or mom getting stoned on pot brownies in the college. The humor is no different than any of those movies. It isn't. It's once again shitty humor. So after that, everything's fine and dandy. But then, turns out Quintessa is still alive. But turns out she made herself as a human. So for another one, but it didn't because the film bombed. So, then after that, then came Bumblebee the next year, which was supposed to be a prequel, which I actually do like that film, other than the fact that John Cena though, but still, I actually do like Bumblebee though, and that for some reason that got all the praise. That one's probably been marked as the highest rated Transformers film, Bumblebee. Critics like that film more than all the previous ones. But. And then came Rise of the Beast, which sucked ass. And then came the last year, the animated film, Transformers 1. I actually do like that movie. Because there was no human characters, and it's an animated film, so it costs cheaper. It's cheaper doing animation than full-on live-action CGI, togetherness, Other than the fact that Keegan Key, who voiced Bumblebee in that film, he sucked in that film. He was a shitty Bumblebee. But I did like Chris Hemsworth the voicing of Optimus, and then Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. I bought the fact that those two were brothers at one point, but then they became enemies due to their journey. So yeah, I like the animated Transformers one. I did like that better than the original 80s animated film. I know, my opinion though, but ooh, a sin. My opinion, okay. But 3 of the 9 Transformer films overall, that's not good though. So yeah, because overall I hate this franchise still. I still don't like this franchise. This is easily the worst one. I don't like Rise of the Beast, but this is still worse. This is worse than Rise of the Beast, and it's worse than Revenge of the Fallen. This is easily worse than Age of Extinction. This is the worst one. It's just god awful, It's just like a whole bunch of like I said, this film was all over the place just like I was, okay? Because they throw in just a whole bunch of ideas after ideas in this. They shoehorn everything, including they throw in the kitchen sink as well, Stuff they just pull out of their ass, which something that's not even mentioned in all the previous movies. With the whole thing with with King Arthur, Excalibur, Which, by the way, with the talisman that turned out to be Excalibur, Mark Wahlberg wields, and it can stop an Autobot. Like, I think it was Optimus. I think it was a measly human can stop an Autobot, just like in the ending of the last film, Age of Extinction, how he's holding back into lockdown. You know. I hate this movie. This is easily, like I said, it's easily the worst. This franchise is god awful, shitty humor. Like I said, once again, way too long, overblown action sequence, glorified CG fest. Except for, like I said, Michael Bay tries to use practical explosions as much as he could. I still give him that though. The little robot squeaks. I'm surprised that was practical. I give it that though. Anthony Hopkins, he's a great actor, you know, but he tried the best he could. Okay, if I want to try, you know, he tried the best he could, but some of the dialogue he said was dumb. But he tried though, because Anthony Hopkins is a great actor, you know. The other character, Jimmy, Jerrod, Carmichael, he was doing the okay as well. So I liked him in Neighbor. He was in Neighbors. I liked him, but he was trying. But once again, I did not care about Mark Wahlberg. I didn't care about the girl who went along, or the Oxford professor. I would say Peter Quill's mother, but I didn't care about her either. I didn't buy the chemistry between her and Mark Wahlberg. But Optimus was barely in the movie, except for he was brainwashed for most of it, but he was barely in the movie. And Peter Cullen just like, well, he still tried the... And what I realized, every single time at the end of these movies, he says, I am Optimus Prime. I get it, you know, it's an ending monologue that he always says, but I'm getting tired of hearing because I know you're Optimus Prime. It's like we're too stupid to know that you're Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime. I get it, we know you're Optimus Prime, okay? We all know who you are, but I get it's a monologue it's an epilogue he says afterwards, but it's just I'm getting tired of hearing that. We know who you are. Bumblebee, for some reason, now he also finds his voice. Just when he was about to die, really. No reason. The rest of the cast, Josh Duhamel is wasted. Once again, does nothing. John Turturro, he's wasted. Stanley Tucci, I mean, he's playing a different character for some reason as in Merlin. They throw him this whole King Arthur, Merlin, Excalibur, Middle Ages bullshit, Knights of the Round Table bullshit for no reason. Because they've been on Earth longer than that, so at that time, so no one other than care to mention this stuff. Like, Anthony Hopkins knew about this. Why does he go with the authorities about telling this history and stuff, you know? Like the military, all this stuff could be important, you know? That's why why. Oh, by the way, there's a picture of Sam Witwicky. There's a picture of Shia LaBeouf there, but we don't know what happened to his character. Like, after Age of Extinction, it's not... Yeah, I know he doesn't want to come back and do it, though, anymore, these movies, but at least reference what happened to the character, especially with his... Since he had such a good bond from Bumblebee in the first 3 movies. And which, by the way, doesn't it bother Bumblebee about what... Does he ever wonder whatever happened to Sam, you know, since he bonded with him in the first 3 movies, you know? Since he was Sam's first car? Bumblebee doesn't even bother mentioning about his friend Sam. That's just like, okay, that kind of makes Bumblebee like a crappy character, because after Sam went through the first 3 movies, you know, he doesn't bother referencing him at all. But when it gets shitty writing like this, I can see why. So anyway, I don't want to carry on for this long. This film sucked ass. It did. It sucked. It was so much worse than Age of Extinction. Age of Extinction sucked ass too, but this is even worse. Like I said, if I had to make a ranking, probably put the first movie, then Bumblebee, then the new animated film 1, then probably Dark of the Moon, and then Revenge of the Fallen. And then whatever. I still don't like this franchise. I'm tired of this franchise. Oh yeah, Rise of the Beast too. I forgot to mention. It was just like I said, it was so forgettable. I didn't care. But that film sucked too. More ideas they just pull out of their ass. I'm done with this. I'm done with this now. I don't want to make it an hour long though. So I'm done with this series. Well, actually no. I still have to get to Bumblebee too. So gotta do that one. But I actually do like that one though. It just didn't put John Cena in the movie. But fuck this movie. Fuck The Last Night. As much as the rest of this franchise, but still, I never want to see that film again. Nor the rest of these movies. Michael Bay. I just wish to make more movies like The Rock or Bad Boys 1 and 2 or The Island. I like those movies. Island is underrated. I mean, I like Pain and Gain. I even like Armageddon, but still. What was it called? Six Underground? Did he do Six Underground? I think he did. I think I did. If he did, I like that film. I did. It was dumb fun though, but I think I like Six Underground. I think it was. But just stay away from this franchise. I know he says this film was the last one we did, and that's that. Okay, but still, stay away from the franchise. And Steven Spielberg, stay away from this franchise too, please. Because you're also at fault of this as well. Okay. You're also partially to blame, not just Michael Bay, or including the other writers as well. You're also part of the problem too, Steven. So stay away from this franchise, please. Both of you stay away from this franchise. But anyway, that's my huge rant. I'm so exhausted. You can hear me. I'm so exhausted from this. This movie literally exhausts me. Like I said, my congestion just got I was all congested up because I literally just sneezed because I literally before I turned the camera on. It goes to show I am literally allergic to bullshit like this. I am not even exaggerating. That's the fucking truth. Because I talk so much, like I said, it's all over the place. It's a so overblown mess that, like I said, if I talk too much about what's going on, my head was going to explode. I'm surprised I didn't give myself a migraine after watching this movie again. Too long, like the rest of these movies are. Too damn long. Overblown action that's just going for so long. Just, God, stop already. Which I want to stop right now. I'm done now. So, Transformers Last Night. Fuck this film. That's my final result. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time. Later. Fuck this film.